Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans out there. I'm Rob Mosley, aka Dolphins Thirsty, here to talk about all things Miami Dolphins, the past, the present, and the future when it comes to our Miami Dolphins. So I hope you guys are all having a great day on this Tuesday, March 28th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And thumbs up, and make sure you give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. So this is kind of season of not too much to talk about. I mean, the Sean Elliott sent Dolphins social media pages blowing it up yesterday on Twitter of his telling Lamar Jackson to basically come to Miami. He quickly deleted it, so that woke up Dolphins Twitter real quick. People got on him and kind of a welcome to Miami Dolphins Twitter rampage. So hey, but it's all good. Most of it was clean stuff. Some people got a little over the top, but for the most part, it was just fans, you know, welcoming him to Dolphins Twitter. We would just keep it at that. And if you want to check out dolphinsthirsty.com, we have an article, always having new stuff up, but yesterday's article is about it's not time right now for the Dolphins to hit the panic button, which will be the kind of the theme of this show here today. There's no reason to hit the panic button for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, we would have liked to have the offensive line taken care of a little more already. But when I see fans say, oh, it's from lack of trying, they just don't pay attention to the offensive line. That's when I think they're a little misguided. It's more like the Dolphins don't know how to execute the plan to get that offensive line in gear. That's how I basically look at it, because they've tried. Everyone knows they've tried. They just last off season they bring in two big names. They bring in Connor Williams. He was a good center to start, and he's played well and he started, so that's good. They also brought in Teron Armstead last year, with knowing that he may miss some action, and he did miss some action. But when he's in there, he's good. But he did miss some action. They've traded up in the past, and in 2020, before we get to the 2021 draft, I'm going to talk about the trade up for Eichenberg. The Dolphins drafted 3 offensive linemen in the 2020 draft within the first 4 rounds. They drafted Austin Jackson, who, has not lived up to his expectations yet. And then Robert Hunt, they drafted also that same year, and he's hit. He was what I would call a draft hit so far. But then within the 4th round, then they took Solomon Kindley. He's not even on, can never find playing time, brother. It was this weight, whatever it was between, I just thought it would be maybe he would play last year when the new coaching, give him a new, fresh scratch start, but he didn't even break the starting lineup and is even no longer on the team. And then you jump to, and if you even go back to 2019, the Dolphins drafted Dieter in the 3rd round, which is, anything in the first 5 rounds, especially the first 4 rounds, is, considered pretty good draft capital. And we drafted him, and he didn't pan out, and we don't even have him under contract this year, and never broke the playing field basically last year. Definitely not the starting lineup. So it's not like the Dolphins have not tried. Then you skip to the 2021 draft. They not only move up just 10 spots, they move up 10 spots because they see a run on the offensive line. They move up, they trade up to get Eichenberg. So not only did they use that draft pick, they gave up a future 3rd round pick in the 2022 draft to move up in 21. So, they've spent lots of resources on the offensive line. It's just the execution of that plan that has failed the Dolphins. So I don't like it when people say, oh, the Dolphins don't realize they need to fix the line. They do. They just don't seem to know how to do it. They haven't got a little bit of lucky at times. Whatever you want to say, the Dolphins need a little bit of luck maybe too. That would help, hit on some of these linemen that in a 4th round pick that just becomes a stud for the Dolphins. Hunt, like I say, seems to be a good hit. 3 of our spots along the line, if healthy, which is, I hate that disclaimer when coming to the Miami Dolphins, because it's quite often a relevant disclaimer when the Miami Dolphins are involved. So let's just hope moving forward that they get a little bit lucky. They have used resources on it, so I do like that. So anyway, guys, what do you think? Oh, we got a comment here. Hold on. Good morning, Ender. Good to see you back in here. Thank you for your comments the other day. I gave it a like and a heart and all that good stuff and replied back. Always good to see you in here. So all you regulars on, I should say, we love seeing all you guys. Make sure, Ender, you give me that thumbs up today. You guys rock. And Ender, don't worry. I will get with, like I say, Justin and I can no longer do the show together, but I will keep on getting with him until that jersey. Well, he says because he gets it and it wasn't ordered, and then they had to get it ordered. I don't know, a whole bunch of things. That's on his end, but I would talk to him, and he has said he's not forgotten you for winning that jersey on another network, the Fins Talk Sports Network. So we got you covered, hopefully. So anyway, Ender, at least the Dolphins have tried to fix the offensive line. That's where the only thing I will differ on when people say, "Oh, they don't know, they're not trying, they're not all in." They've been all in, they just haven't hit. I mean, when you traded up for Eichenberg, they had all intentions, from what I was reading. He was going to be the right tackle of the future, and keep Hunt at guard, which they're keeping at guard. But unfortunately, Eichenberg hasn't panned out. Austin Jackson in the first round of the draft, he's not panning out. He still has time. They seem both players are mentioned on the top of their tongues of players that they have faith in that will contribute to the team. That's where I worry of do little. I'm with you guys where I'm a little worried about that situation where we may be putting a little too much faith in those plans. But they are young. They've had different offensive linemen coach every year, a different offensive line coach every single year since they've been in the league. Those young players, so there's no stability. So maybe they have to have some ability in there. I mean, because Austin Jackson was going to be a first round pick, whether by us or by another team. Austin Jackson was going to be a first round pick. So it's not like the young man doesn't have talent. It's maybe the development, the development to that talent we're not doing right. Like I said, we've changed coaches every year on him as far as, we've even changed head coach, but we've also changed offensive line coaches on him. So, maybe he will just find that magic potion this year and start playing well. I do agree. I want more help at that position, and I think the Dolphins will do it. But again, it comes down to the execution of making the right choice at that position, and that's where the Dolphins have run into some trouble over the years. I mean, there are some good options in the draft. For all you guys that follow the draft, there are some options that will be coming out that are good linemen. Here's just one. I went in alphabetical order, came across the first lineman I found. But, there are plenty of guys that we can draft. I was hoping it'd be the point where we wouldn't draft him. Maybe we could be able to draft a linebacker, draft another position over just drafting for need. But until we really do get that right tackle position, I agree. There is some concern. But once again, it's about the execution, not the fact that we don't know we need an offensive lineman. Let's just see if they can actually put it into action this time and not miss. That's what we need. Obviously, keeping our in-house options would be the best bet if one of them turns out to be good. I mean, that would help us the most from a salary cap and everything standpoint. It'd be awesome. Let's see if there's any other one that makes fans skip down some. Hey, good morning, Steve. Welcome to the show. Looking forward to your show tonight at 7:30 p.m. on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'll be your co-host tonight, and it should be a fun show. And that's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, we would talk all things Miami Dolphins. And Steve, I know your top-end stuff tonight is going to also cover the offensive line, the concerns about our offensive line, and I think we're both more or less on the same page. It's been more or less the execution than blaming the plan, because they've tried to draft players, they've tried to sign players, and they've done many things at the offensive line. They just, for whatever reason, one reason or another, it has not worked out, which is it's just a bummer, unfortunately. But hopefully, moving forward, they will be. There you go. Sorry, my computer got a little bit slow there. So hopefully, moving forward, we start hitting on that plan of getting linemen, because I know people say, oh, we need to protect Tua, which is, of course, you can't disagree with that statement. We need to protect Tua. We need to create holes in the running game, which would also go and hit and help Tua when you got a well-balanced attack. So we just got to stay focused. We got a lot of good players on the Dolphins. They are deep. I know some fans are worrying that it's all for nothing because we don't have that super stud offensive line. But when the Dolphins are in the situation that they're in, it's hard to have top dollar talent at every position. You already pay your left tackle top dollar. You play Bradley Chubb top dollar. You pay Tyreek Hill top dollar. Yes, they all reworked their contracts, but that's just kicking it down the door, and you got that money more and more guaranteed towards them every time you rework those contracts. You're giving them more money to kick down the street. So eventually, it all comes due. So when you get all that money tied up, and Jalen Ramsey's another guy that got a big money tied up into, reworked his contract, so he's not a big hit this year. So I understand people saying we're all in this year. We are, and then people think, well, we're not really all in because we didn't go get a big sexy name running back, and we did not go get a big name right tackle. So that's been a little bit rough on us. So I understand that, but I do believe they've tried. They just have missed, because even our big hit last year, Teron Armstead, getting him to come to the Miami Dolphins was great. But the knock on him was that he misses a lot of playing time. And lo and behold, he came to Miami. And yes, he missed a lot of playing time. Though he's a tough son of a gun, because, it was suggested that he missed the whole season by some doctors. But he toughed it out, played the whole season as much as he could. He missed some games, of course, but he got in there as often as he could, and could have been out for the whole season after signing him to that huge deal last year, which would have really been a blow to the team. And it's tough. It's tough. I understand why Dolphin fans are worried about the offensive line, but let's just keep in mind we're only in March, almost April, but we're only in March. It's a long way until the football matters for real. Teams are going to cut players at positions that may be an improvement on our team. They may not fit their current team because of salary cap ramifications or what have you, but yet then come over to the Dolphins and be able to be an upgrade at right tackle or even running back. Running back, I'm not that worried about like some fans are. I think our running back room is fine. Can you find a good pick in the draft? Yes, that can help the team. And may that be the first pick of our at 51 for the Dolphins? I'm fine with that if running backs really just someone that jumps out at you. Like I know the rumor yesterday was everyone saying the Dolphins were interested in Gibbs out of Alabama. But again, that's just rumor. And most of the time the Dolphins draft rumors, other than Tua, everyone seemed to know in the whole world that the Dolphins wanted Tua. That came to be true. But most of the time, no one really knows. They're not. Chris Greer isn't calling the media saying, hey, we really want this Gibbs guy. So none of us really know. So I don't know where these rumors start. But if they are leaning running back in the draft, that's fine. If they want to hit the offensive line once again in the draft, that's fine. If they want to get more depth in the linebacker position, that's fine. Basically, all those positions where I don't see them drafting someone, obviously, in the second round is at quarterback, receiver, cornerback. You could always use great cornerbacks, but you already got pretty many resources in the cornerback position. So I don't see that being a high priority. But, you never know if BPA, they love to say BPA. So one of those, a player that's just by far the best on the board falls to them. That's why I said you can never rule out any position. But if they told me I had to rule out a couple positions in the first round. The second round, Dolphins first pick at 51. I would say rule out receiver, rule out cornerback for those picks. And everything else is almost on the table. Because defensive line with Fangio, you're going to want to choose a guy that can play the nose up front in the three-man line. So you may not even have a true guy at that position on the team right now. So that one, it surprised me. Really almost nothing would surprise me other than like a kicker or a punter. But then I think Dolphins Tritter would explode if you took one at 51. So, obviously those positions don't need to be mentioned. So, but anyway, linebacker, tight end, running back, and offensive linemen, defensive linemen, any of those positions are on the table for the Dolphins. That's a good kind of what they did in free agency this year. They kind of filled a lot of their holes. Yes, the David Long one scares me. He's good, but he's another player that kind of has a history of getting banged up. Let's just hope he can stay healthy and comes in and be the contributor to the Dolphins defense, because right now he's our best linebacker. I mean, plain and simple. He comes in as day one as our best linebacker with the famous old disclaimer, when healthy. So hopefully he's healthy. He contributes. He can cover. He can stuff the run. He's good all around linebacker. It's definitely an improvement from what we had from last year's team. And definitely it's going to probably be a good fit. That's why I said definitely. Then I changed. So probably, I know. But this, he seems to be a good fit in a Fangio style defense, because Fangio asks a lot of his linebackers in coverage and run support. He's a believer in that, because he's not one that going to blitz his guys a lot. He will pick his time and place to blitz, but it's not going to be a big part of the defense he's going to rely on to use the blitz to generate pass rush or stuff runs or anything like that. Yes, I agree, Kevin. Kevin McDaniel says, well, what will help us is the future. A lot of players want to play for the Dolphins. It's exciting to be a Dolphins fan. That's what I agree with 100%, Kevin. Thank you for bringing the positive energy in here today. And I agree with that statement. It's good to see a lot of people. And it all started kind of, with the big trade for Tyreek Hill. Of course, he came here, maybe for the money, of course, but he picked us over the Jets, maybe for income tax. Who cares? But once we got him here and we gave up the draft capital and gave him the big money, he's like that name that a lot of people think is cool. Mike McDaniel seems to be a guy that the players resonate around, and hopefully that turns out to win. Let's see. Daniel says, Rob, good morning. Lots of buzz about Brenton Strange. Yes, Strange, Penn State guy. Yes, he thinks he's an option if we miss on Kraft. Can we pass on Gibbs? I don't know if we're going to pass on Gibbs at 51, but I don't know about the rumor also of trading up from 51 when we already got limited resources in the draft to go up and get Gibbs. Now, if there's only 1 or 2 spots and maybe you can give up a later pick, yes, but I wouldn't give up, like 84 or anything just to move up and get him, because we need. And Strange, he should be there later. I know that name just kind of got leaked around because we were really talking to him on the Penn State Pro Day. The coach was there. Our offensive coach was there too. So I know that got a lot of buzz for sure. So that is the right term to use, Daniel. But yeah, all those options are on the table. I think Strange is definitely could be in their sights as a fallback. If you don't take a tight end at 51, Strange will be a really good possibility in the back half of the draft. Like I said, Miami has very, very limited draft capital this year. So it's like once you use those first 2 picks, because we already traded one of our picks we had in the 3rd round for Ramsey. So now we're only down to the 2nd and the 3rd, and not until like the 6th, first pick in the 6th round, I think it is, and then in the 7th. So very limited resources. But I think a Strange could fall that way unless he starts getting hyped up in these pro day workouts and any other stuff he's shown. I don't know if he's going to shoot up any boards, but as of right now, it looks like we could get him definitely later on in the draft. So that's definitely a name to keep an eye on. It wouldn't be strange if we liked him. Yeah, I know that's corny, but I had to say it. So Kevin, you were a first-time commenter. I almost forgot. So Kevin, by the way, I have a son named Kevin, so that's an easy name to remember. So as the first time, I always have to go to the old Dolphins song here. And it's the first time, and bring that positive energy.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
That's for you, Kev. That's for you. Thank you, man, for coming in here. And I do like the positive energy around the team this year. Yes, like any team in the NFL, we may have a couple little flaws in the roster, but it's really hard when you got the salary cap. You're not going to be at strong in every single position unless you draft excellent, and that's very few teams that they just draft so well that they got the cheaper talent before having to sign the big sexy offseason names, which the Dolphins kind of had to do the past couple of years. They went and traded for Bradley Chubb, traded for Torrey Kill, traded for Ramsey. So you got big names right there. Then you sign Teron Armstead in free agency to a big contract. So once you start doing those huge mega deals, that window starts closing and closing and closing to how often you can kick the salary down the road. So we are in that window to win now. And let's just hope Tua stays healthy and we really push the envelope this year, because the AFC East, as we know, is not going to be any joke. You got the defending AFC champions of the past few years, Buffalo Bills. You got the Jets that are already almost even as of last year. They're going to be adding Aaron Rodgers any minute now, it seems. And it's going to be a tough AFC East this year. And never count out the Patriots, because Belichick always keeps them at the very least competitive. I doubt the Patriots are going to be like a 4-13 team all of a sudden. So they're going to be right there too. So it's not going to be easy. There will be no easy. There's never an easy week in the NFL. I don't care who you play. It's not like, when you put a big college football up again and pay one of those schools to come in. I mean, those schools once in a while beat the college that get paid to come in to play. But, it's not like that. It's not like Alabama taking on Sisters of the Poor in college. There's no gimmies on an NFL schedule. Anyway, guys, like I said, there's really not too much to talk about in the Miami Dolphin land. I did find it funny, though, that Dolphins Twitter gave Deshaun Elliott a quick welcome to Miami Dolphins Twitter when he tweeted out that. I touched on that at the beginning of the show. I found that was kind of funny. He quickly learned and deleted that and said, come on, guys, it's just Twitter. Then people are saying, well, that's where you're wrong. It's not just Twitter. It's Dolphins Twitter. So, we're a little different breed on Twitter. So he quickly learned that maybe he will be more cautious on what he tweets in the future in relation to the Dolphins. So that was a little, let's see. I agree. I don't know. That's a good question, Kevin. Like I say, they did. They re-signed everyone, and not any one of them was even under contract, but they went out of their way to re-sign them all, bring the whole running back room. That's why when I keep on people saying that the Dolphins are going to sign and trade for a running back, I don't believe it. Now, drafting a running back, that's different, because, some of these guys you can move on from with the cheaper talent. But do you really want to bring in one of these high guy price running backs and give up draft picks for him when you already got limited draft picks? So I don't know. That's a good question, Kevin. It's really, really is a good question. I would tend to say drafting one probably. And could they end up trading for one after the draft for these, but to give up this year draft resources? I don't see it. But I know a couple of the running backs that it can easily move on from what I was reading, like Gaskins. You could cut them and really have no cost for Gaskin. You could cut and really have no cost moving forward. I think Wilson and Mostert are the only two that you're a little more committed to. And the other ones you can, I guess, Ahmed and Gaskin, you can kind of get out of the deals moving forward. But for the most part, the Dolphins have said all, like I say, a lot of times there's smoke screens, but so far the Dolphins this year have been pretty upfront on what they have said, and they mean what they have said. Because from day one, almost from day one after the season, they were saying that Tua is going to be QB1, and all their actions since then, they haven't looked at big name quarterbacks. They bring in Mike White to compete basically for this backup quarterback spot. They offer Tua the 5th-year option. I mean, they pick up the 5th-year option, so that they've said it from day one, and their actions have shown that they mean what they say. They said also from day one that they loved their running back room last year, and they wouldn't be opposed to bringing them back. You're just thinking, oh, that's just them talking because it's not free agency yet, and they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But lo and behold, they brought all the running backs back to the running back room, and that's one thing that made me a little scary, because they've also said from day one that they like Eichenberg and they like Austin Jackson. So, but they did say that position they would bring in competition for. And I mean, unless you count Dan Feeney as competition, You know, they haven't really brought any outside names. They did bring back Eric Lamb and a couple of linemen that we know were backups for the Dolphins last year, but they have not gone outside the organization for any big name offensive line. So they could just right again be telling us what they mean, that they really will bring in someone, but are they bringing in like another Brandon Shell that would just come back? I don't know if he's. I don't. The last I saw, he was negotiating with some teams, but he had not signed with anyone, so he still might be out there. So there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of time. There's no reason to hit the panic button. We are a good quality team, and I love it as a Dolphins fan. It's a lot better than it was like in 2019 with all the tanking allegations and all this, and fan base. The fan base was divided. Some people wanted us to tank. Others wanted to win each week. And, you know, it was like kind of a rough time to be a Dolphin fan, because if you cheered for a win on Twitter, you were ripped by the people that didn't want the win. Oh my God, you don't know. Yeah, one meaningless win, then we're not going to have the first pick. Then the others, people would be ripping those people very well. You're not a fan of a team if you want, or you're rooting for them to lose during the game. So those were tough times. So I agree with Kevin. It's 100% time better right now to be a Dolphin fan than it was just a few years ago. And I think a lot of that falls on some of the big names I said that we went and got. I mean, though they come at a cost, they do help the morale of the team because it shows that you're all in. I like our coach McDaniel. He had some rookie bumps along the way last year that we would all have in the first year on the job. And he, you know, his first year on the job just happens to be a high profile job that gets media coverage. So he had some bumps and he made some, you know, some calls off. And I think that where I'm only fought him for two main things: kind of getting away from the running game on games that it, like the first game up in Buffalo during the regular season. I thought the Dolphins were running the ball all over them, and mysteriously they went away from it. And then some of the clock management with by his own accord, he is working on to improve. And he basically said it simply means I need to get the play in faster. So I think he worked. He's aware of the couple little bumps he had during the season, but as far as management and everything, I like his style. He seems to be like a good coach. The players seem to like him. They seem to resonate with him, and you hear nothing but positive. But I know just because you're a player's coach doesn't mean you're a good coach. Doesn't mean you're going to win a playoff game. Doesn't mean you're going to get to the Super Bowl and win it. But it does mean at least the morale around your team, and morale in any workplace is a good thing to have. When the morale is high, people do better, willing to go all out, play that extra little oomph, you know, to get the job done when everyone's it's on the same page as far as everyone's happy in the Dolphins land. I already ran on 20. I was going to keep the show to 15 minutes and I went rambling on. So it's good though. I do like what Kevin said though. It's good time to be a Dolphins fan. So much better than it was. That's the only thing I can keep on going back. Kevin McDaniel. Oh, Kevin McDaniel. I didn't see your last name, Kevin. So you should like Coach McDaniel then, Kev. So you know that's funny. You just got me distracted, but that's cool. And Daniel, you're always great coming in here. I always read because you read a lot of my. I mean, you watch a lot of my videos after the fact and you comment. And if I don't catch it, you know I appreciate the look. Sometimes I don't know. I'm still kind of new to this whole YouTube thing. Sometimes I get notification that someone commented on my video, and sometimes I come across it by chance because I happen to see, oh, did I say this in the video? And I go look at my old video, and then I see comments on it that YouTube never told me that people commented on. So if I don't comment back, it just means I didn't see it, but I appreciate it. You rock. So thank you so much, all you guys. Steve, if you're still in here, I look forward to your show tonight, 7:30 p.m. on the Fins Talk Sports Network. And I know you're going to go over some of the same topics that we're discussing here today, but a little more in detail about the need to protect Tua on and finding an offensive lineman, especially right tackle, is your take tonight. So it's going to be a good, fun show to be a part of. So, guys, thank you so much. Like I said, I really was going to go 15 minutes, and I just looked at the clock, and I just hit the 30-minute mark already. You guys rock. Fins up. If there's anything you guys want to say, add. It's Tuesday trivia. I almost forgot. What college did Nat Moore go to? What college did Nat Moore, former Miami Dolphin wide receiver, number 89, still worked for the Miami Dolphins organization, Nat Moore, what university did he attend? If you don't answer here in live, you can answer down in comments after the show. So, what college did Nat Moore attend? Former Miami Dolphins player, played some years with Marino and was on the team prior to him in Marino. And he was one of my favorite players back in the day. Number 89, Nat Moore. What university did he go to? Anyway, guys, almost forgot. There will probably be a trivia quiz up on Miami Dolphins Twitter at some point today. It is Tuesday. I try to do a trivia question every Tuesday on DolphinsThirsty.com. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. And go Dolphins. The future is bright. We have a lot of room to still get improved, but we also have come a long way since 2019 roster when people are saying it was one of the worst of all time. So, but they still end up winning games to the dismay of many people out there. But the funny thing is they still got the quarterback that everyone that was saying tank. No one was saying tank for Joe Burrow. No one was saying tank for Justin Herbert. Everyone was saying tank for Tua. So we still got Tua. And, we're just seeing if that's ever going to pan out where he stays healthy and we kick butt moving forward. So even all the tankers can't really complain because they were all saying tank for Tua. No one was saying blow for Joe, or I can't even think of a clever name for Justin Herbert, So everyone was saying tank for Tua. And lo and behold, we didn't even really tank because we won more. It didn't have a pick into the 5th pick. So that means 4 other teams tanked more than us. If you want to throw the word tanked out there, 4 more teams took more than us, and we were supposed to be the worst team ever, but we weren't even the worst team that year. And you got 4 teams picking ahead of you in the draft. But like I said, never did I hear a Dolphin. If they can prove to me that they wanted Justin Herbert or they wanted Joe Burrow before all the season, then I would say kudos to them. But almost everyone was saying tank for Tua. It was kind of a known thing all across national media that the Dolphins loved Tua. And so did their fan base. But here we are 4 years later and still wondering. So we will see together, though, as we grow, move forward. Fins up. Now I'm really going into the time, but I just forgot about my Trivia Tuesday. So if anyone's still listening, please let me know what college. Tell me what college Nat Moore, number 89, that played back in the 80s for the Miami Dolphins. Tell me what university he went to in the comment section down below if you're not watching the live. Fins up, guys. It was fun. Went way over my allotted time, as always. I'm trying to make these shows 15 minutes out of just quick hitting, and then I end up rambling on about my Miami Dolphins because it's what I do. But anyway, fins up. Thank you, guys. Go Dolphins.